Now on the CTV News at 5, it's Election Day, as Albertans have their say on mayors, councillors, and school trustees. Plus, a group petitioning to keep Alberta in Canada believes they have reached their signature goal. And
let's go Blue Jays, that was amazing!
It'll be another night of excitement and anxiety as Toronto Blue Jays fans brace themselves for Game 7 of the ALCS.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. It is Municipal Election Day all across Alberta. Voters are heading to the polls to cast their ballots before polls close. Quinn Keenan has more.
After months of campaigning, it all comes down to this. Voters will have their final say on Lethbridge's next mayor and its 8 councillors. Candidates are encouraging everyone to get out and vote.
I love that the sun is shining today. Like this really sets the tone for the future of Lethbridge, not just for the next 4 years that people get to decide today on election day, but for our future 10, 15, 20, 25 years from now.
Volunteers representing the various candidates will be outdoor knocking to remind people to get out to vote. In races like these, every last vote counts.
They may be on all spectrums of being engaged. Either they didn't know there was an election happening, all the way up to, I've already voted for you. So there's a lot of folks that in a city this size want to be heard from.
It's been a campaign highlighted by several key issues. Affordability was again a chief talking point, with other topics such as transit and a third bridge also coming up often.
Well, I'm hearing issues such as accessoride. Transit was a big one. It's always, you're going to hear about affordability, taxes. You're going to hear a bit about the third bridge, not as much as you did 2 months ago, because the bridge is almost back to normal.
Candidates have been hearing from voters during forums and other public events. Many of these conversations and issues will be used to help inform both short and long-term projects.
So it's really looking at the fact that I am focused on the future of this city, as well as taking care of its current needs.
Voters can also elect 7 trustees for the Lethbridge School Division and 5 for the Holy Spirit School Division. Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
And when the polls close at 8 o'clock tonight, the City of Lethbridge says residents should not expect any results this evening. Hundreds of election workers and volunteers will be counting ballots by hand as a result of changes made to Bill 20 last year by the provincial UCP. Carson Marsouk reports.
More than 400 election workers are preparing to count nearly 100,000 ballots by hand once polls close Monday night.
We anticipate it will take almost 20 hours for 20 teams of 4 people counting consecutively. That equates to 5 4-hour shifts, which will take us to Wednesday afternoon.
Mayoral ballots will be counted first, followed by city councillor and school trustees.
We will be counting Monday night, but we will not have any full contest results by then.
Municipalities have moved from electronic tabulators to hand counting ballots as a result of Bill 20. The province made the changes last year to increase voter confidence, although the city has not had to do a recount since electronic tabulators were introduced in 1992.
Speed is admirable, but it's not the goal we're achieving. The goal we're trying to achieve is accurate results.
During advance voting, more than 9,200 residents cast a ballot, about 10% of the total eligible voters. Once tallied, the city will post results to its website and social media pages.
We'll try our best to provide at least daily results, but since hand counting is uncharted territory for us, we cannot guarantee anything at this time.
The changes to Bill 20 is costing the city $323,000. Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now again, polls at the Lethbridge Trade and Convention Centre, Corvan Ray, YMCA, and Trinity Reformed Church close at 8 o'clock. A list of each location and wait times can be found at lethbridge.ca/election. With 8 days to go before the final deadline, a group petitioning to keep Alberta in Canada believes they have reached their signature goal. It needs 291,000. The Forever Canadian group said it had collected 230,000 signatures in early October. About 6,500 volunteers have been collecting signatures for the petition, which asks the signee if Alberta should remain in Canada.
Inevitably, when you collect 300,000 signatures, there will be some mistakes. People were signing in the cold, in the rain, in a rush, so those signatures will get disqualified. So we want to overshoot by about 10% to be able to sleep at night and know that we hit that 300,000 mark.
Thomas Lukasik says you can expect to see volunteers near polling stations on Election Day collecting petition signatures. Forever Canadians' deadline is October 28th. An opposing petition is still in the courts. All right, let's go to Danielle Savoni for our first look at the forecast. And Danielle, you are also wearing Toronto Blue Jays blue today.
Blue Jays blue today, yep. My jersey is old and doesn't fit me anymore, but Blue Jays blue for sure. Let's go Jays. Okay, and going out to vote, watching the game, we're dealing with really great weather, except for we're just contending with some wind. So it is quite gusty out there in the far south. 12 degrees is the temperature. We just bumped up to 12 from 11. So that's exactly where we should be for this time of year. And yes, it comes with lots of sunshine. So temperatures around where they should be, give or take a degree or two. So double digits in Medicine Hat, Milk River, Brooks, Lethbridge, and almost there for Pincher Creek. Your full forecast just ahead, Jackie.
All right, thanks, Danielle. Lethbridge police are asking for the public's help with an assault investigation. Officers are trying to find witnesses of an incident that happened around midnight, October the 14th in Galt Gardens. Police say a woman was attacked and then helped by two bystanders who intervened. Anyone who may have seen the incident, helped the victim, or have video footage is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers. Residents will have the chance to discuss public safety challenges and identify new opportunities for collaboration at a downtown town hall meeting next month. The Lethbridge Police Service will host its Partners in Policing Forum November the 4th. It'll feature breakout group discussions focused on key crime and public safety challenges facing Lethbridge. Those taking part will have the chance to share their insights and explore innovative approaches to build safer communities. Those interested are asked to register online before October 31st. If you've been a victim of online fraud, you'll be interested in our next story. November's federal budget will include plans for a new financial crimes unit to investigate money laundering and fraud. Mike Couture reports.
According to the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre, financial scams cost people in this country $643 million last year. It's why, after 5 years of promising to tackle the problem, the Liberals are finally acting.
Budget 2025 will introduce Canada's first ever national anti-fraud strategy.
The strategy is also coming with a new agency that will target money laundering and online fraud. Canada plans to collaborate with other countries to target those transnational crimes.
We're talking to the FBI, we're going to talk to the financial crime unit in the UK, but my aim is to go after organized crime, is to go after those who scam and defraud Canadians.
There's no doubt that it's really late in the game.
Cybersecurity experts point out the Liberal government promised a financial crimes agency 5 years ago, and they say this multilateral collaboration with other countries is key to catching these types of criminals.
There's a culture of cooperation that needs to be built within our regulatory institutions, within our law enforcement, and within the financial system.
That's partly why the government will amend the Bank Act to require express consent from account holders before enabling services like e-transfers. They'll also require banks to have policies and procedures to detect consumer-focused fraud. The Canadian Bankers Association is on board and applauds the move to have a central financial crimes agency.
There's a lot of skills that involved, the white collar, the movement of money, the complexities. And so having people that can be focused on that would be critical.
This is one of the many pre-budget announcements the government is making leading up to November 4th. And today, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called on the Prime Minister to keep the deficit under $42 billion, something Mark Carney has already signaled will not happen. Mike Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Danielle is back after the break with a 5-day forecast. Also, we look at how funding cuts south of the border could be a benefit for medical research in Canada.
Oh, here's your Skywatch weather camera. Beautiful day, lots of blue skies, some fun clouds to look at, but certainly gusty, and it will be gusty tomorrow as well. We'll talk more about this in just a second. 10 degrees, the high in Calgary today. It's around where we should be for this time of year. In general, southern Alberta, we're right where we should be temperature-wise, give or take a degree. Tomorrow will be at least 3 degrees above normal. Okay, cooler in Saskatchewan, 5 in Regina today, 6 in Saskatoon, and check that out. Ottawa and Montreal got into the 20s today. Okay, just a closer look at home here. Pincher Creek, 8 degrees, double digits for Lethbridge, Milk River, Medicine Hat, and Brooks. And again, if you can add about 3 degrees, maybe even 4 degrees to this, and that will give you what tomorrow's temperature will be. Not sure why this isn't registering here, but closer to 70 kilometers per hour, closer to 90, Pincher Creek, Medicine Hat 46. So this corridor here, you're looking at 60 kilometer per hour gusts, at least for tomorrow, Pincher Creek to Lethbridge, and about 50 in Medicine Hat. So it will be another gusty one tomorrow, but it will be bright again, and it will be gusts out of the west tomorrow. Today was predominantly out of the northwest. So out of the west is going to help boost our temperatures up those 2, 3, even 4 degrees. Okay, not a whole lot going on. Radar and satellite, just some clouds peeking in here and there. And to the far south, you can see way to the west, you can see a little bit of raindrops. Most of this evaporating before it hits the ground, and this is very short-lived, so that's not really anything to worry about, and less likely it's going to be happening in the coming days. I'm going to advance this for you, and I didn't freeze it at any point because there's nothing really significant to talk about to freeze it in the far south in particular. Just some cloudy periods at times, and yes, windy at times as well is the story. Okay, East Kootenay area tonight, fog patches, and those will continue into early tomorrow morning. You're looking at an overnight low close to that freezing mark, then getting up to 12 for tomorrow with mainly sunny skies. When we look at Crow's Pass 3 overnight tonight, winds gusting 60 kilometers per hour. We'll even have those gusting up to 1 a.m. at 60 kilometers per hour, so it's not going to even calm down that much overnight. And then 60 kilometer per hour gusts at least again for tomorrow, but out of the west, and that will get us up to at least 11 degrees, so warmer for tomorrow, into the double digits for the Crow's Pass area, which we didn't get to today. 2 overnight in Medicine Hat, gusts around 50 kilometers per hour, and then tomorrow 40, 50 kilometers per hour, and a high 15. So again, that's what will get us into those teens here. Not bad as we approach late October. Lethbridge 15 as well, gusting 60 kilometers per hour at times, and then 17 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday. You are looking at busy gusty days. Each day this week it will be gusty at times, but check out these temperatures. 17 degrees for Wednesday and Thursday, and close to that 20 mark on Friday. This comes with lots of sunshine as well.
Cuts to science funding and health research in the U.S. are being described by some as a crisis, but one that's an opportunity for others. An Ontario hospital system has launched a program raising millions to help fund research for those who want to move north. Avis Favreau reports.
Last day, Penn Medicine Cancer Center.
This is cancer scientist Wes Wilson.
Very close to the border.
As he leaves a prestigious position in the U.S. for Canada, among a steady flow of scientists who are fleeing uncertainty and anxiety around science and medicine in the U.S.
People are talking about Europe. People are talking about Canada and Australia. It's a weird situation right now.
And he's among the first 25 scientists recruited by Toronto's University Health Network, which raised $30 million for salaries and lab space to lure talent north, including Canadian-born Wilson.
To have that secured funding, to know that this work is going to have an impact on patients was a deal breaker.
He'll be continuing his work on CAR T-cell therapy.
Every little bit counts,
to treat cancer, along with using AI to uncover new therapies. The hospital says over 600 researchers from the U.S., Europe, and Canada have applied, with 75 more positions being filled in the coming months. The reality is that few Canadian hospitals and universities can fundraise for programs like this, and Ottawa's support for research and development has been dropping since 2020. Canada is now second last among G7 countries. And studies confirm innovation creates new industries.
We found that every $1 you put into research and development, you'll get approximately $5 back in return. And that goes to jobs, that goes to products, that goes to businesses across Canada.
And so, with proof that Canada can score a brain gain, scientists will be watching to see if Ottawa also invests more in research to make this country a science destination. Avis Favreau, CTV News, Toronto.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5. For the first time since 1993, the Blue Jays are a win away from the World Series. Sports is next. Lethbridge Hurricanes hosted the Calgary Hitmen Friday night, still looking for their first home win, and it could not have been a worse start for the Canes. Midway through the second, Brandon Gorzinski scores his second of the night to give Calgary a 6-1 lead. But from there, the Canes would start to claw back. Goals from Too Good and Warmold would make it 6-3 after 40 minutes. Lethbridge would strike while the iron was hot, scoring 3 times in the first 5 minutes of the third period to tie things up. And that was enough to send the game to overtime. With less than a minute to go in the extra frame, Kai Anderson pounces a rebound to score his first WHL goal in heroic fashion. The Canes complete the comeback with a 7-6 overtime win. Medicine Hat Tigers will be away from the friendly confines of Co-op Place for a while. This weekend, they kicked off an 8-game road trip that will take them across BC. Saturday in Victoria, the Tigers had a 2-1 lead after the first period. The Royals would respond with a 3-goal middle frame to take a 4-2 lead. The Tigers would come back with goals from Bryce Pickford and Dayton Reshny to tie things up, but Victoria's Odin Voknen scored his first of the season midway through the third to give the Royals a lead they would never give up. Medicine Hat falls 5-4. Now, Sunday against the Giants got off to a slow start with a pair of first-period Vancouver goals, putting the Tigers down early. Medicine Hat would show signs of life, with Noah Davidson scoring early in the second to cut the deficit, but that was as close as they would get. Vancouver would add one more, and the Tigers fall 3-1. Brooks Bandits were looking to build momentum after a strong showing at the BCHL Showcase. They stuck around in BC a while longer to round up their road trip. Friday night was no problem for the Bandits. They controlled the game right from the puck drop with a 5-1 win over the Surrey Eagles. Saturday was a rematch of last year's Fred Page Cup finals as Brooks went up against the Chilliwack Chiefs. But the Bandits again came out on top with a 6-4 win. Cranbrook Bucks were also on a far-flung road trip. They traveled to Vancouver Island. The Bucks tied Friday's game against Victoria late before losing in overtime 6-5. Saturday against the Cowichan Capitals wasn't as close for Cranbrook. The Bucks only mustered 13 shots and they would lose 5-1. It's a time of change for post-secondary sports. Several fall sports are wrapping up their regular seasons ahead of the playoffs. Friday night, men's soccer team hosted McEwen Griffins in a 1-1 draw. Now, the next day, the women's soccer team fell 3-0 to the Manitoba Bisons. Sunday, men's soccer finished up their regular season with a 1-0 win over the Alberta Golden Bears. They'll go up against the UFC Dinos in the Canada West quarterfinals. The women's team would lose in their last chance to get a win this season, 6-2 against Manitoba. Sunday, the women's rugby team has a chance to come away with some hardware. The Pronghorns led 12-3 at halftime in Canada West bronze medal game, but they could not hold on, and they lose 15-12. Saturday, Lethbridge Polytechnic Kodiak soccer teams were playing in Calgary against the St. Trojans. The women's team fell short, just 3-2, while the men were blown out 7-0. Sunday, the women's team were able to end their regular season on a high note with a 3-1 win over the U of A Augustana. Saturday also saw the return of court sports. At home, the women's volleyball team were swept by Concordia University Thunder. The men's team followed that up with a 3-set sweep over the Thunder. At the same time, basketball teams were in Edmonton playing the Thunder. The men came away with a 78-62 win. The women weren't as fortunate. They were blown out 81-45. The Toronto Blue Jays need one more win to reach the World Series for the first time in more than 30 years, and it all comes down to Game 7.
Lips one in the air, right center field, and it is gone!
That Addison Barger home run put the Jays up 4-0 last night. Vladdy followed that up with a solo shot in the bottom of the fifth, and that was his 6th postseason homer, tying him with Jose Bautista and Joe Carter for the franchise record. On the mound, Treya Savage was sharp again and got lots of help from the defense. This is the furthest the Jays have gone in the playoffs since 1993. And it is a do or die night for the Jays in their quest for the American League Championship. And Jays mania has spread far beyond Toronto, with the hopes of a nation firmly behind the team. CTV's Adrian Gabriel now on the excitement and anxiety right across the country.
When the Northern Lights are their brightest, this baseball team has brought a nation to its collective feet. It's been 32 years since Joe Carter touched them all, a decade since Batista's blast. Though this current iteration of the Toronto Blue Jays has fans flying high once again, prompting some to hop a flight for the big game, with one pilot even sketching the Blue Jays logo with his flight path over Nova Scotia.
You got a diamond, you got 9 men.
Canadian rock stars have been strumming along this postseason to the Blue Jays anthem.
You got them to spring till fall.
In Victoria, fans caught the ferry to games 3, 4, and 5 in Seattle.
There's only 30 teams in the MLB, and Canada only has one of them, but it only takes one to win.
Lifelong Expos fans are even pulling for Vladdy Sr.'s son, taking the trip from Montreal.
We're going to Game 7.
Yes! This postseason run has brought families and Canadians together and given rise to the next generation of Blue Jays Nation.
We're very excited. Let's go, Blue Jays!
It might be fall in Canada, but hope does spring eternal across the country this October, with one common goal, one common purpose.
Okay, Blue Jays, let's play ball.
And play ball they will tonight. The two most intense words in sports, Game 7. The hopes of a nation hangs on each pitch, on every swing of the bat. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, well, still ahead on the CTV News at 5, we'll tell you about Italy's oldest barista when we come back. Italy's oldest barista is still serving espressos and has no plans of stopping. Anna Pozzi is 100 years old. She turns 101 next month, and she has been working at a small bar northeast of Turin for the past 65 years. And she's been working as a server even longer. She says the secret to her longevity is simple: keeping a steady routine, some good humor, and a nightly can of sparkling lemonade that she keeps on her bedside table. Wow, what a great motivation. Well, thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.